Hello and welcome. Today, you will learn English through another motivational story. This is episode 6 of David's journey. In the last episode, David received his first job and learned that mistakes are part of growth. Today, he will discover that opportunities do not always look the way we expect. Listen carefully and enjoy the story. The business card sat on David's desk for nearly a week. Every day he looked at it. Every day he wondered whether he should call. Part of him felt curious. Another part felt nervous. What would he even say? One evening after work, David finally picked up his phone. Before he could change his mind, he dialed the number. The phone rang twice. Then, a familiar voice answered. "Mr. Peterson speaking." David introduced himself. Immediately, Mr. Peterson remembered him. "The young man who returned my wallet." David smiled. "Yes, that's me." After a short conversation, Mr. Peterson surprised him. "Why don't we meet for coffee tomorrow?" David agreed. The next day, after work, he arrived at a small cafe downtown. Mr. Peterson was already waiting. He looked friendly and relaxed. For almost an hour, they talked. David spoke about his dreams, his family, his struggles, his job at the community center. Mr. Peterson listened carefully. Occasionally, he asked questions, but he spent most of the time listening. Finally, David gathered enough courage to ask, "What kind of company do you own?" Mr. Peterson smiled. "I own a small logistics business." David's eyes widened. A business owner. For a moment, his imagination began running wild. Maybe this was why Mr. Peterson wanted to meet him. Maybe there was a job opportunity. Maybe this meeting would change everything. As if reading his thoughts, Mr. Peterson laughed. "You're hoping I'll offer you a job, aren't you?" David felt embarrassed. "A little." Mr. Peterson smiled kindly. "I won't." David blinked. For a second, he didn't know what to say. Instead of disappointment, Mr. Peterson continued, "I think your current job is exactly where you need to be." David was confused. Then, why invite him? Why give him the business card? Mr. Peterson leaned forward. "I want to give you something more valuable." David listened carefully. A challenge. A challenge? That was not what David expected. Mr. Peterson explained. For the next 30 days, David would have to do something difficult. Every day, he would have to speak with one stranger. Not a friend. Not a coworker. A stranger. He would need to start a conversation. Ask questions. Listen carefully. And learn something new. David stared at him. "That's it?" Mr. Peterson nodded. "That's it." David almost laughed. The challenge seemed simple, maybe even pointless. Mr. Peterson noticed his reaction. "You think it's easy?" David shrugged. "A little." Mr. Peterson smiled. "Then try it." The next morning, David decided to begin. On the bus to work, he sat beside an elderly man reading a newspaper. Several times, David considered speaking. Several times, he changed his mind. The ride ended without him saying a single word. That evening, he felt frustrated. The challenge was harder than expected. Talking to strangers felt uncomfortable. What if they ignored him? What if they thought he was strange? 2 days later, he tried again. This time, he spoke to a woman waiting in line at a bakery. The conversation lasted less than a minute, but it counted. David had done it. As the days passed, he continued. A university student, a taxi driver, a shop owner, a street musician, a security guard. Every conversation taught him something new. One afternoon, he met a young man named Daniel. Daniel was around the same age. The two started talking while waiting for a bus. At first, the conversation seemed ordinary. Then Daniel mentioned something surprising. He had started a small online business selling handmade products. David became interested. He asked questions. Lots of questions. Daniel explained how he learned marketing online, how he made mistakes, how he improved, how he slowly gained customers. When the bus arrived, David realized something. Without Mr. Peterson's challenge, he never would have spoken to Daniel. He never would have learned any of this. That night, David thought deeply. The challenge was no longer about confidence. It was about learning. The world was full of people with experiences, knowledge, and stories. Yet most people never spoke to each other. Weeks passed. David completed all 30 days. Some conversations were awkward. Some were interesting. Some were unforgettable. But every one of them taught him something. At the end of the month, David met Mr. Peterson again. So, Mr. Peterson asked, "What did you learn?" David thought carefully. Then he smiled. "I learned that opportunities are hidden inside people." Mr. Peterson smiled. "Exactly." Before leaving, Mr. Peterson handed him a notebook. The cover was plain and simple. Inside the first page, a message had been written. Your future will be shaped by the people you meet, the questions you ask, and the courage to start a conversation. David read the sentence twice. Then he looked up, but Mr. Peterson was already walking away. That night, David sat beneath the stars once again. The notebook rested on his lap. A month earlier, he thought success came from finding opportunities. Now he understood something different. Sometimes opportunities must be discovered, one conversation at a time. And somewhere out there, another unexpected chapter was waiting for him.